In today's episode, I tell you 3 cases from the state of Florida. The first case is of a mother who put her own wants over the needs of her toddler. The second case is of a man who used AI for purposes no rational person would have even considered. And the last case is of a man who just can't stop going to jail. Brace yourself and let's get into it. Welcome, lambs. Welcome to Love and Murder, Heartbreak to Homicide, the Florida Man Friday edition. I'm your host, AI Jane, Kai's co-host while she's out on a break. She'll be back for Monday's full episode. If you're new here, please listen to this episode and, if you like us, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any other cases. Also, this episode and all of our episodes are sponsored by our special lambs in Patreon, patreon.com/love and murder. Now, let's get into our Florida cases. In the first case, which happens on June 27, 2024, police in Dorrell, Miami-Dade County responded to a call from concerned neighbors who spotted the child roaming the Apex at Park Central Complex. Body camera footage captured officers finding the 3-year-old boy alone and unharmed. In the footage, one officer says to another, quote, "That's the kid, but the neighbors don't know who he is." An officer asked the boy, quote, "Hey little buddy, what's your name? Do you know where you live? Do you know where Papi and Mummy are?" Surveillance footage showed he had been unsupervised for approximately 6 hours, from around 10:15 a.m., when video shows the mother, 25-year-old Jessica Renteria, leaving, to 4:15 p.m., when police arrived. In the surveillance, the boy could be seen walking out of the apartment at around 1:15 p.m. Officers spoke with the neighbor who'd made the 911 call. The person is heard telling police that they found the boy outside of the apartment door, sleeping. Police walked around the complex trying to find his mother or anyone related to the boy, even at one point asking a resident, quote, "Hello, by any chance, are you missing a kid?" After some time, police found Jessica some miles away, at a cosmetic surgery center. This is when they found out that she's actually from DeLand, Volusia County, Florida, which is 268 miles away, or about a 4-hour drive. Jessica was actually using the apartment as a vacation rental. Jessica claimed that a friend was supposed to watch her son, but when police reached out to this individual, he denied any arrangement to care for the child. Jessica was arrested at the surgery center and was released on June 28 on a $1,000 bond. During her court appearance, she became emotional as the judge expressed concern over her actions, stating, quote, "If she had time to go take care of her own personal issues at a cosmetic surgery center without regard to the child, I'm concerned." Jessica faces charges of child neglect. She has a hearing set for September 24, 2024, and her case is set to go to trial on December 2, 2024. The Department of Children and Families has taken over supervision of her son as the case proceeds. If you suspect child abuse, call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4A-CHILD or 1-800-422-4453, or go to www.childhelp.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. The next case happened in late June 2024, where Indian River County authorities arrested 38-year-old Philip Michael McCorkle for allegedly using artificial intelligence to create child pornography. The arrest occurred at the Majestic Theater in Vero Beach, Florida, where McCorkle worked. The charges stem from an investigation that began after 2 cyber tips alerted the authorities to McCorkle's activities, specifically his use of AI to generate and distribute explicit content through the social media app, Kick. McCorkle was apprehended at the theater, where law enforcement led him away in handcuffs, as captured by CBS 12 News. Sheriff Eric Flowers, who was present at the scene, expressed his concerns about McCorkle's actions, stating, quote, "We're standing in front of a movie theater. You guys saw this guy come out in his movie theater gear. You know how many kids go in there every single day. If he's looking at child pornography, who knows what the next step is, and so we're just happy to have him off the streets and behind bars." The arrest followed 2 separate cyber tips that revealed McCorkle had allegedly created and shared 32 AI-generated videos depicting child sexual abuse. The investigation is part of a larger operation called Operation Cyberstorm, which aims to crack down on child pornography offenders. McCorkle is one of several individuals arrested as part of this operation, which has uncovered thousands of obscene images circulating online. Florida lawmakers have been working to address the issue of AI-generated child pornography, with a new statute targeting computer-generated sexual content. However, the application of this law is complicated. As Flowers pointed out, the law relies heavily on perception, with the sheriff explaining that while some may view the images as realistic, others, particularly those familiar with AI or video games, might recognize them as artificial. Quote, "The average person would probably look at this child pornography and say, 'Man, that looks very real to me.' But there may be that person who plays a lot of video games, or who doesn't, who regularly operates on computers, and may think, 'No, I know this isn't a real person.'" The rise of AI-generated child pornography is a growing concern at both state and national levels. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, there were 4,700 reports of AI-generated child pornography in 2023 alone. These cases are part of a broader trend in which criminals are using generative AI to create deepfakes and other explicit content, often with the goal of extorting victims. A Stanford University study also revealed the presence of hundreds of child sex abuse images in popular AI image datasets. Dan Sexton, Chief Technology Officer at the Internet Watch Foundation, highlighted the challenge of regulating such content, explaining that much of it is created using open-source software that individuals can download and modify locally. Quote, "The content that we've seen, we believe is actually being generated using open-source software, which has been downloaded and run locally on people's computers and then modified. And that is a much harder problem to fix." McCorkle remains in custody at the Indian River County Jail, facing 20 counts of obscenity, and on a $30,000 bond. As authorities continue to investigate, his case may serve as a legal test for how AI-generated child pornography is prosecuted under existing laws. What are your thoughts on this case? In my opinion, it's shocking, but not that shocking at the same time. There are always those who will use technology for their nefarious causes. Now, in the last case, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and its Organized Retail Theft Unit launched an investigation early in August 2024 after discovering a barcode manipulation scheme in Lowe's stores across Hillsborough County and Clearwater, Florida. The accused, 57-year-old Mark Brentz, was allegedly switching barcodes from cheaper products onto more expensive items, allowing him to pay significantly less at checkout. Over the course of 10 separate incidents, Mark defrauded Lowe's of more than $4,500 worth of merchandise. In a coordinated effort with the Clearwater Police Department, authorities tracked Mark down, and on August 21, he was spotted driving erratically in his black Nissan Altima, which had an improper tag. Mark led them to his home, where he was taken into custody without incident. During the investigation, detectives also found online advertisements where Mark attempted to sell the stolen products. Mark now faces several charges, including organized scheme to defraud less than $20,000, retail theft of $3,000 or more, and felony petty theft. This is not the first time Mark has been arrested. His criminal record stretches back to 1985, with 74 prior bookings into the Orient Road Jail and 11 separate stints in prison. His past offenses include a range of crimes, including fraud and fleeing law enforcement. At the time of his latest arrest, Mark was on probation for felony fleeing to elude. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister acknowledged the significant partnership between the Sheriff's Office and Clearwater Police, stating, quote, "Our organized retail theft unit, working hand-in-hand with the Clearwater Police Department, successfully apprehended a career criminal before he could victimize more businesses in our community. This partnership was crucial in stopping a thief who has been a repeated offender for decades and speaks volumes of the power of collaboration between law enforcement agencies. Despite this individual's lengthy criminal history, he still has not learned his lesson. We will not tolerate habitual offenders who continue to prey on our community." Clearwater Police Chief Eric Gandy echoed those sentiments, noting, quote, "He has a long history of breaking the law in multiple jurisdictions. Authorities are continuing to investigate the extent of Mark's fraudulent activities and are filing additional charges related to the stolen merchandise. Given Mark's extensive criminal history, law enforcement is determined to prevent further offenses from a repeat offender who has shown little sign of rehabilitation. Mark's return to the Orient Road Jail for the 75th time raises ongoing concerns about habitual offenders and the challenges they pose to law enforcement and businesses alike. What are your thoughts on this case? I can't believe he'd been arrested 75 times and was still out of jail to continue illegal activities. This time they're trying to keep him in, but what happened to the three-strike law that's intended to keep career criminals and violent offenders in prison? That's all I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether you tell me about one of the cases, or all of them. Don't forget to subscribe and also share this case episode with everyone you know and everyone you don't. So, share this with someone you know from Florida, and share it in a Facebook group that you're part of. Everyone you know and everyone you don't. Thanks for listening, and Kai will see you in the next episode.